And welcome to the Tech Informist. This is episode 34, recorded on February 18th, 2015. Hey, it's Ash Wednesday. The Tech Informist is a show intended to help inform and educate listeners about the world of technology with a lively and entertaining commentary about the latest tech news along with interviews with guests from the tech industry. My name is Kevin Harvell. You can find me on Twitter at Kevin Harvell. I'm also joined by my co-host, JJ Hammond. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, sir. Well, aside from there being a killer on the loose in my neighborhood, and I'm ready to deal with that if the time comes. You can also find me on Twitter at JJ Hammond Music. So, Kevin, it's very snowy and cold where we are. Let's warm his housey up.
Yes. People can watch and get involved with our live chat over at thetechinformist.com/live. You can see our schedule of upcoming episodes, upcoming guest schedules, and you can also send us feedback to contact at thetechinformist.com if you have any suggestions, comments, things you would like us to talk about, things you would like to hear, guest suggestions, etc., etc. So also find us on Twitter or Facebook, Google+, Instagram as well, just simply by typing in The Tech Informist or Tech Informist. So let's move on to the news of the day. JJ, are you first up today?
I am, sir, and get your custom overlay up. You put a lot of work into those, so you put it up. Get it up.
I'm slacking today.
Get it up while I talk about something that's kind of related to that. It is hump day, so why not get crazy? Everyone has a checkered past and more than likely will have an equally checkered future. However, I do believe that that a certain amount of shame and shock is good for the conscious mind. In this story, Wired explains that pictures taken of private parts are never ever going to go away, period. And maybe that's okay to some and not to others. With the current teen generation finding out what it means to live in a world without the ability to forget everything. There are over 200 million cameras and videos that the government has access to on a daily basis. Just think about that for a second. This is not including your employer's ability to track your every move with your mobile device and by other means necessary. Now, again, this story kind of pops up in a way, and it's basically a lot of people panic when they think about what happens to the goofy things that we do, right? Like there was a lot of bad press has happened with the recent celebrity hacks of pictures. Also, the kids. The college kids, that were charged with rape and a whole bunch of other stuff, and
Snapchat and all that stuff.
Yeah, and Snapchat and sexting, a lot of revenge porn. I didn't know exactly what that meant until I looked into that. I saw a bunch of stories pop up, and I always thought the revenge porn, because everything has the word porn in it, which that kind of bothers me. By the way, you got shoe porn, you got tech porn, you got this porn and that porn. That's not porn. That's just liking something a lot.
You did your due diligence on that research, didn't you?
Uh-huh. Actually, it's been a long time since I've looked at it. Anyway, so the point of that was revenge porn. I thought revenge porn was like if any of you have seen Inglourious Bastards, was kind of like that, right? Like revenge, right? Like that movie didn't actually happen. Hitler didn't die in a cinema. So I thought that was revenge. Because that kind of made sense to me, but it turns out revenge porn is actually where you take pictures that you had with your maybe a spouse or a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, and then you put it out there, right, just into the ether without the other person's permission, and then So I want to say there was some state like Montana or Idaho or something like that that is prosecuting and making this a law for that not to happen. But this is kind of the new future, right? And nudes are out there, and in the coming years, when you Google someone's name, it won't be shocking to see new pictures of kind of interspread with their LinkedIn profile, professional society awards, naked picture, Facebook page, private, and so on, tweets even, right? So, just if you don't want it out there forever, then don't do it. What do you have to say about this?
Yeah, you definitely have to be careful. I know people get in relationships and take pictures and send each other's pictures, but not all relationships last, so you've got to be very careful what you're sending to different people. But yeah, because once it's on there, once it's on the internet, man, it just does not go away.
Yeah,
Thankfully, I
it's
haven't had to.
crazy.
You won't find me on the internet that way. I guarantee that.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Luckily, I think. Oh, we're so old, by the way. But I think that we skipped that.
Yes.
I think that we made it past.
Yeah, so let's talk about something a little bit more cute and cuddly and a little bit, more happier kind of stuff.
Like pandas.
Yeah,
No.
happy panda. A smart thermometer created by a company it's called Wishbone, makes taking your baby's temperature even easier. Now, this Kickstarter is actually doing very well. It is with about a week left to go in its Kickstarter campaign. Wishbone has raised more than $140,000, which is well above its 100 or not 100, just its $20,000 goal. Now, the project's developers over in Shenzhen, China, Joywing Tech is the name of the company. They're aiming for a stretch goal that includes a mode designed to take the temperature of pets and integration with the iOS Health Kit. Now, obviously, this is really intended to take the temperature of your infant, or really even of yourself. Wishbone can also be used to take the ambient temperatures on or of objects such as a baby bottle. We always want to check the temperature of the formula or the milk. The device starts at $33 and is slated to begin shipping in April. So the Wishbone is a Y-shaped device with a 45-degree angle and designed to plug into either Android or iOS devices such as the iPhone and even iPad and also Android phones. Why do I want to say Andrea? Goodness. So just simply plug that into your headphone jack, use the infrared sensor on one end, and a typical battery that you would find in a watch, or not really a watch, but little flashlights or little like laser pointers goes into the other end, and you just hold it 3 to 5 centimeters away, and it's pretty accuracy. The accuracy is comparable to a traditional contact thermometer at a range of plus or minus 0.2 degrees Celsius. So
No,
I
this
think
is
these
really
little things are
cool.
cool.
Yeah, I think these little things are cool, and I think a lot of people are worried about technology for technology's sake, but I do believe that there are a lot of use case scenarios that we just haven't considered yet,
Yeah.
right? For this stuff, and I think that this is really cool. I think you talked about Wishbone before, but it's nice to see kind of this evolving and continuing as a thing.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of little digital thermometers and stuff like that I saw at CES back in January. I don't believe I saw this one in particular, but I did see other ones that are very similar to this, kind of a different design, but still kind of the same principle. The article is from TechCrunch, so whenever we get the show notes posted and publish the audio episode and get the episode page ready on techinformist.com, just
Mm-hmm.
click on the link and check this out. It's really cool, and at $33, it's not that bad.
Let's do this for our listeners, man. We need to do a giveaway for the smart thermostats that we have now, because I've got 3 of those Cincy thermostat things. You remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should do that. If you're interested, hit us up on social media or in the chat room, and we'll do something. Enter you
Yeah,
in to win.
I'll look at the calendar before we end the show. I'll have a date picked.
Okay.
We'll
Because,
get it
like I said,
posted.
I got a couple. You know what I mean? So it's not like
That's why
you'll
we
miss
got 'em.
out. Yeah. So before I move on to my next story, I am in the market for a new thermostat, to be honest. And even though I have this one, it only currently works with Android right now. I saw that Nest has a third-party app for Windows Phone. I think it's called Nest WP, if I'm not mistaken. But if anybody out there knows of kind of a good thermostat that they like, that they use, that works with a smartphone, I don't care what smartphone or what let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are on it, because I'm kind of curious. Because, like I said, I'm in the market a little bit. I'd like to make my house a little bit more efficient. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, I agree. I need to go ahead and just get the one installed here
I know,
and
right?
replace ours.
I mean, I've got one, and I haven't installed it yet. Anyways, so at first glance, I saw this next article, and like this one and earlier ones in the week, I still feel compelled to talk about it, even though it's not out yet. All right, here we are on the precipice of the release of a brand new Apple device. Now, this is a big deal that everyone will buy, or at least at some point try out. And there are a few rumors floating around that may have this device dead on arrival. This is sad because devices like the Microsoft Band and Android Wears will have to suffer from being guilty by association, I think, a little bit here. Another article for me from Wired was the one that I found kind of the most inclusive, because it had Wall Street Journal, their own thoughts on it. But they're reporting that the soon-to-be Apple Watch, the Wall Street Journal and Wired, the company was most ambitious new product of the year, won't include several hoped-for health tracking tools. According to the journal, it won't measure blood pressure, heart activity, or stress levels. I'm pretty sure they showed off all of those things during the keynote. And correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin. That left Apple executives struggling to define the purpose of the new smartwatch and wrestling with why consumers would need or even want such a device. Yikes. Perhaps, but the Business Journal reporting notwithstanding, it's hard to imagine an Apple executive struggling at the moment. The company is riding an unprecedented wave of corporate success fueled by an obtuse financial antics by the sheer popularity of its gadgets. The journal also reports that Apple is producing 5 to 6 million watches for the initial release, a modest number by iPhone standards, but hardly a sign that the world's most valuable company is worried about the success of its new product. And it shouldn't be. The Apple Watch doesn't have to do anything special for Apple to sell millions and millions of them, and I agree with that statement. Wearables have long suffered as a product category because the companies making them have failed to make it clear why you would need such a device in addition to your smartphone. But the perks of Apple's success include not having to explain itself too deeply. Not that Apple has solved the problem that's stymied other makers of wearables, such as Android Wear and the Microsoft Band, which I still think the Band's the best one. Remember the last time Apple made a device that didn't seem to have an obvious reason for its existence was the iPad. So before I go any further talk anymore, what are your initial thoughts on all the stories that you've heard from this particular subject this week?
I did see this last night about how they said they were wanting to integrate all these other services, and obviously some things cannot make the launch of a new device. It's tough to cram everything in to be the do-all, be-all device that you originally intended to be. I mean, that gives them a chance to see how this first version of the Apple Watch goes, and then maybe version 2, that'll likely release in 2016 will have we'll add in a couple more of these features that they're looking at. But Apple needs to really be focused on making sure the battery life's good on here, and that it does some of the basics that you can find on the others. It's got to at least do what other current smartwatches do. Then you worry about trying to make sure that you set yours really apart, from what the others can do. So I know they're saying that they're looking at a huge release of this with and with this thing starting at like $400-$500. That's going to be some crazy money. And we're really just a month or so away before this thing really kicks off. So we'll be finding out more and more information really, really soon.
Yeah, I just think it's one of those stories. Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, I just think it's really one of those stories where, look, I mean, the Band does all of those things that the watch is now supposedly not going to. I hope this isn't true. I hope that it does all of it.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, the Band doesn't do blood pressure; it does pulse, which is.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. The blood pressure thing was a little.
If any company can get a smartwatch to be able to take blood pressure, I think a lot of people would really be
right.
really like that.
I sure could have used it the other day. So yeah. All right, Kevin, you're up.
All right, so we've talked before about the next HTC One device, and HTC has confirmed that we will be seeing the HTC One on March 1st over at Mobile World Congress. Now, unfortunately, we won't be there live, but we've got plenty of friends and people that will be there, so we'll be getting all sorts of information to be able to talk about that not too long afterwards. So March 1st, is when the HTC One, pretty much what we're expecting it to be called the M9, will be available. Hopefully it's, right now we know the design is going to be somewhat similar in a way to what the current M8 looks like. I don't think it's going to be a radical change there. I think the biggest change
Hmm.
is going to be updated CPU, GPU as well with better camera. That I mean, really, the rear-facing camera is the only thing that needs changed, and and as long as they can make it where it doesn't, if you're holding it, it doesn't like really like burn your hand with the aluminum design.
Hmm. Hmm.
I think it'll be good. The HTC is known for beautiful displays and solid devices, so I'm looking forward to
Here's
this
a
one.
couple. Yeah, I mean, I've struggled a lot with the HTC One M8 for Windows because I really want one bad. But
Hmm.
here are the things that keep me from it. Wireless charging and the camera. Because when I think about a device, if they can figure out a way to do both of those things, I bet you that they would compete with Samsung.
Oh yeah, I mean,
And
beautiful.
I know I kind of made a jump there because I was talking about the HTC One M8 for Windows, but obviously I mean the Android variant as well. Like for
Right.
both devices, those two features would throw this thing over the top. Because when I used that device, when it was in my hand, I was just like, I love to have this in my hand. Now, the phone that I use as my daily driver has sharp corners, and I'm sick of it digging into my hand, and it's ginormous. But the other thing too is now I've got from the screen being all chipped up. Now the end of my thumbs are all. I'm gonna quit complaining. Anyway, so I really think that HTC, if they can do a good camera and wireless charging, it would just be it would put it over the top because their screens are gorgeous, the devices manufacturing is gorgeous, the features that it has in it is amazing. I just think that this would really do it for it.
Yeah, and I'm really hoping HTC also announces that it's not only going to be available running Android, but it'll also be
Hmm.
available running Windows Phone as well. And wouldn't that
And
be awesome at
and
launch? That would be
and
cool.
all carriers. How awesome
Yes.
would that be? For
Yeah.
every carrier to have, you can pick and choose, which OS you want on there. I mean, not like at the time, it's going to depend on device, obviously. You're not going to load one onto, whatever, but like dual boot or something like that. But you walk in to any carrier and you're like, I want the M9 Windows version or Android version, whatever. That would be awesome. And
Yeah.
I think with the camera and the wireless charging and the awesome design that they have, and then the cross carrier, up to snuff standards, that sort of thing. I think you could really, you would have a compelling case, and in fact, it would probably push me to get one because I
Yeah.
can barely stand it. So
Right.
um,
Yeah. Yeah, Rawl in the chat's kind of wanting to know what our daily drivers currently are. And we're both using Lumia 1520s. I mean,
mhm.
I'm waiting right now until the next wave of Android flagships come out.
Yeah, because I got an Nexus 5 and I love that phone. Aside from the bad battery life, but I'm comparing it to a phone that gets like a day and a half worth of battery
Yeah.
life, which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
So,
that was one thing I noticed as soon as I hopped back on the 1520 after my whole debacle with Motorola and spending it. Yeah, it's a long story that I will save for maybe next episode. I'll tell that. So
yeah, that'd be nice.
yeah,
So the next story, I like this story because I'm almost always find myself rooting for the underdog or good competition, and I believe this story speaks to this issue a little bit. I have even in Amazon when I'm buying something from small merchants have run into this issue. One of these issues is a lack of ratings and feedback for small merchants. Also, I have never heard of some of these companies before that I'm buying stuff from. And then when I go to their websites, they're all messed up, they're weird, they're out of date. Also, that fact that I went to the website is quite unusual, especially for normal day-to-day shoppers on Amazon, so who don't go the extra mile for anything at all. So this story again comes to us via Wired. I've been on this kind of kick for stories today, but everyone loves a David and Goliath story, and the tale of entrepreneur Mark Lore, I apologize, versus Amazon certainly looked like one back in 2009 as the founder of something that I'm not even going to try to pronounce because it doesn't matter because it's gone. Now does this deal called Jet.com. Now, this speaks to an Amazon audience, but the difference here is with Jet.com, they're playing the playing field by letting smaller merchants hack their own supply chains. For starters, Jet doesn't make money on the products it sells, so it has no incentive to force merchants into lowering their prices to increase sales, like other third-party merchants do. Jet's prices are already around 10% lower than they would be on other sites, quote-unquote Amazon, at no cost to the seller. Instead, it makes money by charging customers a $50 yearly membership fee, and rather than pocketing the commission fees it earns from sales, Jet passes that money on to the customers in the form of savings. That means Jet's prices already around 10% lower would be on another site, for the customer, already sweetens the deal for the merchants, the people who are selling, and the customers, so you're getting kind of a win-win on that side. For consumers, the process looks seamless. The more items you load into your cart, the cheaper other items from that retailer will be. So that's kind of an interesting thought, right, Kev? Wave returns at checkout, and money melts away from the total. During a demo of the product, the savings this person tried out on a Sonos wireless receiver and speaker came out to about $160 compared to the lowest price online, to say nothing of that the time would save and scouring the internet for the lowest prices. But giving merchants so much power means that Jet had to be built fundamentally different from the way most e-commerce sites are. According to Lore, the guy, the technology powering Jet looks a lot more like real-time financial trading systems. That's kind of interesting, right?
Yeah, it is.
So this story is pretty cool. We've heard a lot about Alibaba, which is a place out of I think China that is trying to take on Amazon, kind of trying to be like the Walmarts, like the physical stores of the internet. And so it's neat to see that this is a story that I don't think got a lot of attention, that I think a site like this could benefit a lot from, and I think a consumer who's out there shopping, either it be eBay, Amazon, Jet.com. So what do you have to say about this?
Yeah, I mean, looking through here, it talks about charging customers $50 yearly membership fee, and then rather than pocketing the commission fees it earns from sales, Jet passes that money on to customers in the form of savings. So that's pretty interesting. I'd definitely look into it. I'm curious how much they had to pay for that domain name though, because I mean, simply Jet.com. I mean, we've looked into some certain domain names, and
I know, right?
Even what they're available from domain hosts, I mean, you're looking at $2,500 for premium domain names. You're like, oh, good Lord. So, no, I think this is kind of neat, and Amazon does need some competition themselves because they're, doing so much for, online, shopping as it is. I mean, they're just huge. That's where I go first to check prices and look up devices. I mean, they carry pretty much everything. So I think it's really neat. I'm definitely going to look into it.
Tell us how I'm going to be saving money.
Oh yeah.
And not you, Kevin.
Right. So yeah, recently AT&T has bumped up their prepaid data offerings. Now this came out, I think news came out yesterday. So people that are using the GoPhone prepaid with AT&T, now if for $45, you will now be getting 1.5 gigabytes of data. Now it's LTE and unlimited minutes and texting as well. So previously you were only getting 1 gig, and $60, where before you were getting 2.5, I think it was, now gets you 4 gigabytes of LTE data on the AT&T network, along with your unlimited minutes and texting. And I believe it also opens up calling to Mexico as well.
Mhm. Mhm.
I mean, not like I know a lot of people
Buenos
down in Mexico,
dias, mi amigo.
but I mean, somebody, Alejandro Ramirez, friend of the show and stuff. I mean, that might be something he needs to look into. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
But
Totally.
it's really good, and I mean, I still love the idea of prepaid, and I urge people as much as possible, especially if you're just by yourself, or that's prepaid is definitely a way to go. I mean, sure you have to pay for your phones, outright up front, but the cost savings and stuff, because you do not pay as many taxes. That I can say your bill on the $60 plan is gonna be about 65, maybe $66. Your
No, dude,
taxes
mine's only
your taxes are much
63.
lower.
Yeah, 60. Like my total bill is only like 63 something.
Yeah. Yeah,
So check
tax.
it. So check it out. Not only do I get 4 GB of data, right?
Hmm.
After the 4 gigs, I don't go over. It just throttles my speed, so I still get data after that. That I don't. It's basically unlimited data. Now it's slow as all get out,
Yeah,
but I
it's
still have it.
unusable,
Yeah,
unusable unlimited.
yeah, but I still have it. You see what
Right.
I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a compelling case, guys. It really is. So,
Yeah. I
and
I think
and
it's
what?
it's a good deal for people.
And what? And what, Kevin?
And
Back
what?
on. You're back. You're working for the man. No.
Yeah. Yeah. So go ahead and tell us
No.
about Xbox.
Microsoft will let anyone be on Xbox One app developer. What the huh? Over the summer there was a lot of talk about indie devs, right? And this ability of people making applications that are going to work on the Xbox One. Now, this is a big deal. This is a really, really big deal. We know that Windows 10's universal app strategy is coming to the Xbox One, but there hasn't been much said about this until now. The Verge, via the story in Engadget, so I'm not even going to get into how I found it, that Microsoft will open up Xbox One app development in a big way over the coming months. A new app development program will apparently be detailed at Microsoft's Build conference in April, woohoo! After which the company will release the SDK preview and allow anyone to turn their retail Xbox Ones into developer kits to start making apps. The move will make it easy for devs already making Universal Windows apps to port them over to the Xbox One, as they'll be able to beta test the apps on any retail console at minimal cost. That's interesting. In addition to allowing anyone to become a developer, Microsoft is also revamping its app approval process to make sure that it can deal with an unexpected influx of submissions. It's not entirely clear what sort of functionality Microsoft wants developers to add to the Xbox One by opening up app development this way, but the report says that new apps will be able to run in the background, means that a music app, for example, like Spotify or Rdio, can output music even when you're playing a game. So that's pretty cool. Like if you're like getting down to a tune. There are also question marks over whether the Xbox One XDK will provide access to the Kinect, or if accessories, mini cameras, and microphones will be off limits to developers, so that people can't listen in to your living room conversations. Because some things still need to be private. It's expected that gamers will be able to reap the benefits of this new and more powerful feature-rich applications later this year. The report suggests November, roughly timed for when the planned update to Windows 10. The Windows 10 update will bring a whole lot more in the Universal apps to Xbox One, including DirectX 12 support, revamped core apps, and the ability to stream games from your console to a tablet or PC. I love this idea. It's awesome. Kevin?
I do agree. I think it is really cool, and them being able to take your retail Xbox One and turn it into a developer kit. That is cool, because then you don't have to go out and buy new hardware. Sure, you can, if you want to make sure you leave your primary Xbox One console untouched. You go ahead and do that. But if somebody doesn't have the money and you want to go ahead and play around with it, you can. If you've already got the Xbox One, it's neat. Again, it's going to be exciting for Microsoft, and that kind of leads me into, the MS Mobile show that you and Vernon Smith are launching. So, first episode of that real episode will be coming out sometime today, I believe.
1
So,
o'clock
yeah,
Central Time.
yeah. I'd be looking forward to that, because you'll be getting a lot of Microsoft news with the MS Mobile show.
Now,
So
before I move on, because that's how I roll. Halo diehards will get their very own motorcycle helmet in July. Who says motorcycle helmets have to be functional, not fashionable? Renowned toy maker NECA is getting into the headgear game with a street legal design based on Halo's main man, Master Chief. The helmet features front air intakes to prevent fogging and rear exhaust to keep your head cool and comfy while you're driving your Warthog into walls. Plus, there's a reflective shield with UV and removable top and cheek pads. And don't worry, you'll be able to fit your Coke bottle specs under there as well. So, if I needed another reason to go get a bike, yeah, I want this helmet bad.
yeah,
All right.
I think it looks better than the people that drive around looking like roosters.
Right, right.
I like those helmets just look terrible. I don't know why people would do that, but yeah, whatever.
Yep. All right, you're up, Kev.
All right, so back, it's kind of like the AT&T stuff here for me. So AT&T has announced that it will match the Google Fiber price and speed in Kansas City. So people that live in Kansas City, you're going to be able to get their gigapower internet service from AT&T for $70 per month, and customers can also get connectivity of 1 gigabit per second, and for $120, they can get a basic TV package as well. The rollout highlights how increasing competition is benefiting consumers. After the arrival of Google Fiber, the dominant player in Kansas City, Time Warner has also tripled its speeds without raising prices. So Kansas City isn't the only location where Google and AT&T are going head-to-head. In cities across North Carolina, Georgia, Texas, California, and Tennessee, the two companies are already competing or have planned competing rollouts. So that's good stuff. For people in these areas, options are good. Options are really good. It's very, very good. Hunter Newby, the CEO of Allied Fiber, told the Kansas City Business Journal, "This isn't rocket science. Google Fiber proved a point. A gig for $70? What? Are you kidding me? I thought that was only available in Hong Kong." Because you always hear stuff like that in overseas and foreign countries that they have these great internet speeds and
Mm-hmm.
packages and
Mm-hmm.
pricing so much better.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's because you're in little condensed areas. It's easier to roll stuff out like that over there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Bullet trains and fiber internet. That's what I love. That's what I want. That's what I gotta have. So again, everybody, thank you for being in the chat room. Thank you for tuning into the show. We are super excited to have we've had some really nice success with not only this show and everything, but again, I would tell everybody go to msmobileshow.com /live, because we're going to be talking about all things Microsoft over there. That's where I get to go over and just totally geek out just with all Microsoft mobile stuff. So I think a lot of you who follow me in particular are going to enjoy that side where I don't necessarily talk about those things over here, because I want to talk about all technology, not just a subset. But again, go over and check that out. Also, I want to plug our Codecast. If you're into coding and programming, go to Codecast by STL Tech Talk. Check that out. It's a lot of fun. I think most people will like it. Subscribe to that. Also, we're going to have some more stuff coming again at some point for a local show, stltechtalk.com and STL Tech Talk podcast. So, Kevin, is it okay if I hop into our entertainment and application picks of the week?
Well, actually, just real quick, Raul was wanting to know what the web pages were. msmobileshow.com, codecaststl.com, and then stltechtalk.com. Just real quick, I think we're doing pretty good on time. I'll go ahead and throw a little bit about that Motorola and my Nexus 6 experience real quick.
Oh, okay.
That, I back in November, I purchased Nexus 6 from Motorola. Came in, no problem, using it for a month or so. Started noticing the back cover was kind of like popping up a little bit on the sides. And, looking into it a little bit more, other people were kind of having that issue as well. And when I reviewed the Moto X 2014 edition as well, I noticed the bamboo back cover was popping up on that too. So I thought, I was a little worried about the Nexus 6 design, seeing how Motorola designed it similar to the Moto X, and it basically just comes down to the adhesive they use on the sides. It's just not strong enough to handle the heat that the Nexus 6 generates, I don't think. At least with those early batches, I'm hoping the newer batches have stronger adhesive so I don't have the same issue. But anyway, in January, mid-January, I called Motorola and said, I'd like to, get this swapped out, get it replaced. They said, okay, we'll do the, even swap and stuff. Hadn't heard anything from them in like, a week or so, so I gave him a call. Was on, that phone call lasted at least 45 minutes, and most of that was just me being spent on hold. Whatever their hold music is, I can't stand that classical music song anymore because I've heard it so much. And they're like, oh, we got an AT&T branded one. I'm like, no, I want the unlocked, unbranded version. They're like, well, that one's still kind of out of stock. So
For
a
a
couple,
long time,
yeah,
like way out of stock.
yeah. And then a couple weeks later, I'm looking, I checked the Motorola website and I see it's in stock to purchase. So I call them back and I'm like, hey, what's going on with mine? Oh, the replacement units are still, out of stock, etc. I'm like, so, I mean, if I can buy one right now on your website, but you're telling me that somebody that's already bought one that needs to get theirs replaced, I cannot buy one. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, you're kidding me, right? Now, granted, this was an hour and 3 minute phone call with probably 55 minutes of that being on hold, probably even closer to 57 or 58 minutes being on hold. And
Jeez,
I'm like,
man.
no, I don't even want the replacement. I just want to get refunded. And then, he's like, okay, can I put you on hold? And blah blah blah. A couple times of being put on hold. All of a sudden, I heard all audio went away. I'm like, uh-oh, this call is
Mm,
getting ready to get disconnected. So
yeah.
I snapped a picture of how long that call was, and within like 10 seconds, yeah, the call was disconnected. I'm like, great. So I got to call him back. And unfortunately, the lady that I spoke with that time, she probably didn't like me. Now that call was an hour and 34 minutes. And she's like, "Oh, well, we just got an email that all the replacements we'll have those in stock to be able to send out on Friday." Now this was on Monday, and I'm like, "No, I just want it. I just want a refund, refund, refund. Like, don't even bother. Don't put me on hold. Don't do nothing." And so anyway, I've sent my Nexus 6 back. Refund is on the way. 4 to 6 weeks, of course. I'm like, God, you kidding me? I have to wait
All
four
right.
to six weeks. But by the time that money comes back, the next Samsung, next HTC, maybe even something from LG that'll be announced, and I'll be able to make my choice then. So, but I
Yeah.
might still get a Nexus 6, but I will not get it from the Motorola.com website. I would go through Google Play because Google Play, I've been seeing people, oh, they just get them swapped out within a couple days, and that's just within the last couple weeks of me dealing with all this. Oh yeah, our replacement was out in 2 3 days. I'm like, oh.
Wow.
So like, whatever.
Now, everybody tuning into this, Kevin is totally cross-platform. You got to understand, the man's
Yes.
rocking Android, a Mac, a Windows machine, and uh, a Windows phone. So I mean, he's got his hands at everything, and he's got an iPad,
Yep.
which
iPad
we have for
Surface
sale.
Pro.
So if you want to
Right.
buy it, you need to hop on the train. So if you're looking for an iPad, we got
Yeah.
a
If you're interested in an iPad Air, we are selling ours, and we're just going to use that money to help put towards getting an iPhone
hmm
6 or 6 Plus,
hmm
just because I feel it's easier for us to test apps in real world situation of being out and about using LTE and stuff like that, using it on the go. When I'm home, I don't need to use an iPad. I've got plenty of other machines here that make sense for me to use. So if anybody's interested, send us an email, contact at thetechinformist.com, or hit me up on Twitter at Kevin Harvell. It's listed on Swap. I've got a Logitech Bluetooth keyboard folio case with it as well.
or I'll
It's
know
it's
BlackBerry.
yeah. The thing it's like you just bought it brand spanking new. 16 gig space gray iPad Air, Wi-Fi only, and I'm
Yeah,
just looking for, I'd say 375. So if
yeah,
anybody's interested, let me know.
yeah. I've yet to see somebody with a BlackBerry over the last 2 years. So
Although
yeah,
I do like the design of these new Blackberries. It's just,
yeah,
I just can't do it. I mean, the
yeah.
Passport looks nice. It's huge, but
Hmm.
I think it's really cool. The BlackBerry Classic that just came out as well.
Hmm.
AT&T is going to start carrying that here pretty soon, so I'm sure we'll be able to get a review unit of that. I'd like to try that out and
All right.
see.
Well, we you effectively killed that space
I know,
between.
but we've still got plenty of time to finish what we need to talk about.
Okay.
So go ahead, hop into your app pick or app entertainment, whatever we're calling the segment. We need a new
App.
name.
Yeah. No. The app and entertainment segment.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Kick it
there
off.
you go. Done. All right. So let me go ahead and pull this back up. Virtual machines! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! That's in your face, Kevin, because we were
Uh,
talking about it there earlier. Virtual Box from Oracle. It seems to be the most that people use. But the reason why I bring up virtual machines, and I wanted more time to talk about this, that's why I slid into it as fast as I did. But Kevin shot me down like an airplane going over the house.
so in
Um,
your face.
so in my face. I had to roll back my Sony Vio laptop. By the way, it's a gorgeous laptop. It worked really great until I installed Windows 8, Windows 8.1, Windows 10. I rolled all the way back to Windows 7 on this bad boy, and then I'm running virtual machines of Ubuntu, Windows 8.1, and Windows 10. I think that a lot of people should think about if they have a power machine of some kind running virtual machines as a solution to check out other operating systems and kind of what's going on if you're into tech. Um, I don't think it's a good idea for like a developer machine per se, but I do think it's a good idea if you want to see what's going on, right? So I would suggest everybody check out VirtualBox and try that out. It's pretty awesome. And Kevin can kind of speak to this a little bit because he's using boot camps, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's what I was originally trying to install Windows 8, but apparently I'm having some licensing issues. So
Okay.
until I get a new license of Windows, I guess I will just stick with the Mac and also do stuff on my Windows 8 one laptop. So my little picks today, I've got an app and a TV pick. Now I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the app first. Audible. So for people that like audiobooks and stuff like that, available on Android, iOS, Windows Phone. It's available for free. If you've never signed up for Audible before, you basically it's an app. Audible is based off, they're owned by Amazon, and you can sign up for a free 30-day trial, I believe it is, and also get a free audiobook. So head over to audible.com and grab you a free audiobook as well and have a listen. I mean, I listen to podcasts all the time, so I'm used to listening to stuff. So once in a while, it's nice to listen to an audiobook as well. And my TV pick is The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. Last night they had their 1 year anniversary of Jimmy taking over The Tonight Show from Jay Leno's second run with The Tonight Show. And Jimmy Fallon, I honestly will admit I never watched too much when he was starting at the 11:30 Central time slot, after the Tonight Show.
Hmm.
But man, Jimmy Fallon, Tonight Show is just head and shoulders above anything else, in my opinion, that's on TV. He does a phenomenal job. Gets the guests to do really funny stuff. The band, the Roots, they're really good, and it's just great. It
His thank you cards are great. Or
Oh gosh, yeah,
those are
that
hilarious.
segment is wonderful, and he's just so humble, and he just really looks like he's having fun, and he's really comfortable doing what he's doing. There was from the Monday episode where he's talking about the post Saturday Night Live 40th anniversary, kind of post party. He was talking about doing some MC kind of stuff, and he had Taylor Swift and Paul McCartney. He was telling the story of Paul McCartney doing one of the Beatles songs, and then he had Taylor Swift come up, and she's like, give me a guitar, and they did their little jam, and then all of a sudden Taylor's like, well, I'll go do one of my songs, so she was gonna do Shake It Up or Shake It Off, and Paul, Jimmy's like, I didn't think Paul would know the song. He's like, oh, Paul McCartney do it, shake it off. Like, it's just so funny. He's a great storyteller, great show. If for some reason you're not watching it, do so.
Okay.
Do so.
Kevin, take us home.
All right, so real quick, we mentioned possibly giving away a Emerson smart thermostat. The episode we'll do that on is the March 6th episode. So what we need for you guys to do is
Here
go.
you go. For those of you who, woo!
Yeah, so it's an Emerson Sensei.
Sensei.
Yeah, and I believe that works with Android and iOS devices.
Yeah, right there. Can you see it?
Yes, so
Okay.
we have an app in the iTunes App Store and the Google Play Store. We'll do the giveaway. We'll have details on how to enter. It's mostly going to probably involve, following on Twitter, Google Plus, Facebook, stuff like that, and also leaving reviews on iTunes, because we really need reviews on iTunes and ratings. I mean, I know maybe not a lot of people use iTunes or listen via iTunes, but please just set up an iTunes account just to leave a review, because the more reviews, the more people that find the show, and the more listeners we can get. We can keep bringing you more and more great things and sponsorships that allow us to do more and more giveaways. So, but that pretty much sums up. JJ, if you have any last thing before I finish this up.
msmobileshow.com/live. We
Yes.
got our very first show today. We're kicking it off, and we hope to see everybody there. And if you didn't was able to catch it live, you can hit it up in any of the podcast directories aside from Windows Phone, which drives me nuts. But if you go to our website, you can find the RSS feed link to put inside of the aggregator, and you can hit search, and it will pull down, and you will be good to go. Okay,
Yes.
Kevin, that's it.
All right.
Wonderful show, guys. Wonderful show. Thank you, chat room.
Yes. To submit any topics for upcoming episodes or guest suggestions, again, please email them to contact@thetechinformist.com. And that does it for another episode of The Tech Informist. Again, we would like to thank all of our listeners and viewers. We truly do appreciate it. Thank you all. So to those who joined in the chat room, Raul, Daryl, Vernon, JJ, everybody, really glad to have you in here as a first-timer, Raul. Thank you for coming on. Hopefully you pop in.
You got what you wanted.
Yeah, future episodes. Monday,
right.
Wednesday, Friday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. So from everyone here at the Tech Informist, consider yourself informed, and until next time, we are out.